Should I go ahead and start, Arunagara?
Not yet. 1 second. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. Today is day 20 of Purushottama month. Today Chaurashtakam bhajan will be sung by Madhavi. And then we have Bijashri who will be doing Sanskrit recitation of the verse of chapter 15. And then we have nobody signed up for chapter 15 translation. We'll see if nobody says that I can do it, or somebody who has not gone yet with anything will take up that opportunity. I will now hand it over to Madhavi Mahankali for doing the Chaurashtakam prayer, and I'm going to share my screen. On to you, Madhavi.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you, Arunagara, for the opportunity. Praje prasidham navneetachauram gopangananam chadukulachauram aneka janmarjitapapachauram chaurangaganyam purusham namami. श्रीराधिकाया हृदयस्य चौरं नवाम्बुधश्यामलाकान्तिचौरं पदाश्रितानां च समस्तचौरं चौराङ्गगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि। अकिञ्चनीकृत्य पदाश्रितं या करोति भिक्षुं पतिगेहहीनं केनाप्यहो भीषणाचौरईदृक् दृष्टाश्रुतो वा न जगत्त्रयेऽपि यदीयनामापि हरत्यशेषं गिरिप्रसारानपि पापरासिन् आश्चर्यरूपो ननु चौरईदृक् दृष्टाश्रुतो वा न माया कदापि। धनं च मूलं च ततेन्द्रियाणि प्राणं च हृत्वा मम सर्वमेव पलायसे कुत्र धृतोऽत्यचौरा त्वं भक्तिदाम्नासि मया निरूढा छिन्नत्सि घोरं यमापाशबन्धं भिन्नत्सि भीमं भवापाशबन्धं छिन्नत्सि सर्वस्य समस्तबन्धं नैवात्मनो भक्तकृतं तु बन्धम् मन्मानसे तामसारासि घोरे कराग्रहे दुःखमये निबद्धा लाभस्व हे चौरहरे चिराय स्वचौर्यदोषोचितं एव दण्डम् कराग्रहे वस सदा हृदयमदीये मद्भक्तिपाशादृढबन्धननिश्चलसन् त्वां कृष्ण हे प्रलयकोटिशतान्तरेऽपि सर्वस्य चौरा हृदयान्न हि मोचयामि। व्रजे प्रसिद्धं नवनीतचौरं गोपाङ्गनानां च दुकूलचौरम् हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। I offer my respectful obeisances to the foremost of thieves, who is famous in Vraja as the butter thief, and he who steals the gopis' clothes, and who, for those who take shelter of him, steals the sins which have accrued over many lifetimes. I offer my respectful obeisances to the foremost of thieves, who steals Srimati Radharani's heart, who steals the dark luster of a fresh rain cloud, and who steals all the sins and sufferings of those who take shelter of his feet. He turns his surrendered devotees into paupers and wandering homeless beggars. Alas, such a fearsome thief has never been seen or heard of in all the three worlds. Mere utterance of his name purges one of a mountain of sins. Such an astonishingly wonderful thief I have never seen or heard of anywhere. O thief, having stolen my wealth, my honor, my senses, my life, and my everything, where can you run to? I have caught you with the rope of my devotion. You cut the terrible noose of Yamaraja, you sever the dreadful noose of material existence, and you slash everyone's material bondage. But you are unable to cut the knot fastened by your own loving devotees. O stealer of my everything, O thief, today I have imprisoned you in the miserable prison house of my heart, which is very fearful due to the terrible darkness of my ignorance. And there for a very long time you will remain, receiving appropriate punishment for your crimes of thievery. O Krishna, thief of my everything, the noose of my devotion remaining forever tied, you will continue to reside in the prison house of my heart because I will not release you for millions of eons. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Madhavi. Thank you very much for the beautiful singing and reading of the translation. Very inspiring bhajan and message, right? I like this so much. Okay, now we will move on to chapter 15, Sanskrit recitation. Bijasri, are you ready, beta? Just speak up if you are there because I am not seeing the view with the audience. Do you somebody see? Okay, let me go to the view with the audience.
I can see Auntie.
Okay, but is she here? Bijasri is not here, I think. Okay, that's fine. Maybe she got something else. I see Shri here. Shri beta, can you read the Sanskrit word, Shri? Are you comfortable? It's an impromptu. But if
I
you
can do it. I can do the translation.
Can
Okay.
Swara do Arunagaru?
Yes, let her do the Sanskrit verses and Shri can do the English translations.
Yes. I'll practice the Sanskrit part and try it next time.
Okay. Go ahead, Swara beta.
श्रीभगवान् उवाच पूर्वमूलमदाशाकं पुष्पोक्तं प्राहुरव्ययं छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेदवेत् तदष्टोर्वं प्रसृतस्तस्य शाखा गुणप्रवृद्ध विषयप्रवालः अधश्च मूलानि अनुसन्ततानि कर्माणि बन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके यरूपम् अस्येह ततो फलप्यतेनो न चाद्य न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थम् एनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण गदेन चित्वा ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यं यस्मिन् तथा निवर्तन्ति भूया तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तः प्रसृतपुराणी निर्माणमोहाजितसङ्गदोषः अध्यात्मा नित्य विनिवृत्तकामात् द्वन्द्वैर्मुक्तसुखदुःखसंज्ञैर् गच्छन्ति मूढपदमव्ययं तत् न तत्पश्यन्ते सूर्यो न शशङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनःषष्ठानि इन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति शरीरं यत् वाप्नोति यच्चापि प्रकृतीश्वरः गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धनिवाशयात् श्रोत्रं चक्षुस्पर्शनं च रसनं घ्राणम् एव च अधिष्ठाय मनश्चायं विषयान् उपसेवते उत्क्रमान्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमुद्धा पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः इदं तु योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्तात्मनिव स्थितं यतन्तोऽपि अकृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यन्ति अचेतसः यदादित्यगतं तेजो जगद्पश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति किलं यच्चर्यमसि यच्चाज्ञा तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम् कम् इव आवश्यभूतानि तरयामि अहम् ओजसा पुष्णामि च सदि सर्वः सोमभूत्वा अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रिता प्राणापानसमायुक्ता पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम् सर्वस्य चातं हृदि सन्निविष्टं तस्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदस्य सर्वमहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविद् एव चाहम् वाङ्मयौ पुरुषौ लोके क्षरः एव चाक्षरः सर्वाणि भूतानि भूतस्थोऽक्षर उच्यते उत्तमपुरुषस्त्वन्यः परमात्मेति उदाहृतः यो लोकत्रयम् आविश्य बिभर्ति अव्यय ईश्वरः यस्मक्षरमतीतोऽहम् अक्षरदपि गौतमः अतीतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रतीतपुरुषोत्तमः यो माम् एवम् असमूढ्य जानति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद् भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत इति गुह्यतमं षष्ठम् इदम् उक्तं मया नघ एतद्बुद्धिमान् स्यात् कृतकृत्यश्च भारत.
Good job, Swara. Very nice recitation.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll now move on to, actually, Akhil had signed up. Is he here, Madhvi?
He should be.
I think I saw him
Yeah,
signing.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Want to read, Akhil beta, or you're good to
Yeah,
read?
yeah, I can read.
Okay. So Shri, we will sign up for another day when nobody else has signed up, okay?
Okay.
Akhil originally signed up for today. That's why I'm asking him to do.
Okay.
Should I start now?
Yes.
Okay. Text 1. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it said that there is an impenetrable banyan tree that has roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. The branches of this tree extend downwards and upwards, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are objects of the senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of human society. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down the strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Thereafter, one must seek a place from which, having gone, one never returns, and there surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended since time immemorable. Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who, unbewildered, know how to surrender onto Supreme Personality, the Supreme Personality attain that eternal kingdom. That supreme abode of mind is not illuminated by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragment parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another, as air carries aromas. Thus, he takes one kind of body and quits it to take another. The living entity, thus taking another ghost body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped by the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. The endeavoring transcendentalios, who are situated in self-realization can see all this clearly, but those whose minds are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try. The splendor of the sun, which dissipates into darkness of this whole world, comes from me, and the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire are also from me. I enter into each plant, and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon, and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. I'm the fire of digestion in bodies of all living entities, and I join with air of life ongoing and incoming to digest the 4 kinds of food stuff. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas I am known. Indeed, I am the compiler of the Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. There are 2 classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living entity is infallible. Besides these two, there is a greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable, the Lord Himself, who has entered the 3 worlds and is maintaining them. Because I'm transcendental beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I'm the greatest, I am celebrated in both in the world and in the Vedas as the Supreme Person. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is a knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, O sinless one, and it is enclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection.
Thank you, Akhil, for reading very nicely. One correction in the last sentence, is it enclosed, whereas Krishna's translation says disclosed. So it's really important that we read the translation as it is, not only reading, but we also understand, right? Reading by mistake, if we make mistakes, that's fine, and it's excusable, but understanding the message of Krishna as it is really important. If we understand the message of Krishna the way we think, then it might not be right. It will not be right. So it should be the way that Krishna wants Arjuna to understand, which has been translated beautifully by Prabhupada in that same tone. So we should be very careful while reading the translations. Sanskrit, of course, we all don't understand, but translations we should be very careful about. Anyways, this is not to point out what Akhil read, but I'm using it as a context for all of us to highlight that the translations are very important, and that's the reason we're reading translations too. Generally, Bhagavad Gita recitation is not accompanied by translation. They just read in Sanskrit, but we are making it a point to read in Sanskrit too. In English too, because we want to understand what Krishna said to Arjuna. Today is a very special day. Looks like I was not aware. However, social media brought awareness to me that today is a special day called Friendship Day. How many of you knew that it's Friendship Day? Almost all the kids and adults also knew. No, I think, because only those people who have the cameras turned on are raising their hands. And of course, those who are not turned on also raise their hands. So Friendship Day. So in this context, any day that is celebrated for any milestone or to commemorate anything can always be dovetailed to Krishna. Isn't it so? And Krishna himself says in chapter 15 that we are reading currently that Krishna resides in everyone's heart. Sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivishto. He resides in everyone's heart and gives us knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. Who can be a better friend than one who accompanies us wherever we go, in whichever form we take, in whichever life we go. So Krishna is the only best friend that anyone can have. And Krishna is proving to us by accompanying us, by being with us at every moment, and at every life, and in every stage of our current life too. However, we are not proving to be best friends of Krishna because we're constantly forgetting him. Isn't it so? A friend does not forget his friend, yes or no? And that's when that's the definition of friendship. A friendship means one who does not forget his or her friend, and is also always there and stands by the needs and requirements or any help that is needed for the friend. So Krishna is the best friend for all of us. And we have to remember that fact and be thinking about how we can stand up to Krishna as a good friend of Krishna. One nice example from the pastimes of Krishna is that of Sudama, right? Sudama goes to Lord Krishna. Of course, he loved Krishna. He was very strongly devoted to Krishna, was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. And he never asked from Krishna anything. However, when he was poverty stricken and when life was getting unbearable for his family because they were not getting even the basic necessities, even food to eat, that's when his wife inspires him to go meet Lord Krishna. And as a good friend does, Dhamma takes whatever he had, the best of the things that he had, to Lord Krishna. Right? Despite he being poverty stricken, he found something which he can take to Krishna. And what about all of us? We are reminded that Krishna is our best friend by reading this chapter at least for the last 20 days now. Chapter 15, verse 15. 15:15 is the verse that reminds us that Krishna is our best friend. And having known Krishna as our best friend, we should also walk in the footsteps of Sudama. Sudama, when he saw the need to go see Krishna and meet Krishna, he takes the best of all the things that he had. And those were a handful of stale flaked rice. Is that rice flaked rice, right? Or was it called chipped rice? Chipped rice, I think. Poha. He takes a handful of stale poha. That's all he had. It's not that he had something even more better and he chose to take that. No, that's all he had. And that's the best he had. And he took that to Krishna. And he knows that Krishna loves that. And because of being close friend, best friend to him from his childhood days. So we all have to take the inspiration of giving the best that we have for Krishna. And what is the best thing that we all have for Krishna in our lives, which is common to everyone here? Not only people who are here, but people who are not here too. What is that which is best thing that is common to everyone that we can give to Krishna? Anyone who wants to speak up and tell me or tell us here?
Flowers, maybe?
Good. Flowers, yes. All
Our
of us.
time.
Love, Mataji.
Love and devotion, Mataji.
Love and devotion. Somebody said something else.
Our time.
Who's saying that? I can't hear.
Oh, Madhavi.
Yes, our time. Time is of course, flowers, love, devotion, all of them are true. But time is something which is common to all of us, isn't it so? At least on a daily basis, assuming that all of us are living right now. It's common to all of us. And then that's most precious, that's most valuable. Because if we ask somebody to chant or somebody to attend Taurashtakam class or to come to Bhagavad Gita classes, what do they say? Oh, I don't have time. Isn't it so? Why? Because we have prioritized other things. We have so many other goals in life, because of which our interest doesn't come into Krishna consciousness. So time is the most precious thing. And when we give that time to Krishna, then what happens? We will become the most intelligent people. Why? Because we'll be wise investors. An intelligent person does what? He invests his money, his wealth, his relationships, and all important and all things where you see return of investment. Yes or no? A fool who does, it's only a fool who doesn't do that. Now, the topmost intelligent person is one who invests his or her time wisely in Krishna consciousness. Meaning, in remembering Krishna, in thinking about Krishna, in learning more about Krishna, in speaking about Krishna, in spending activities for Krishna. And of course, as Vaivya Mataji and Revati Mataji said, the time has to be spent with quality, where you now introduce the concept of love and devotion. Right? So, on the occasion of Friendship Day, when the whole world is talking about different friends, of course, our material friends are important. We're not saying we have to neglect or ignore the material friends. But the foundation of friendship is on the concept of loving Krishna and understanding that Krishna is our best friend. And Krishna resides in my heart and he resides in everyone's heart. And when we remember that Krishna is not only in my heart, but in everyone's heart, then we will love everyone equally, which translates to all the people in the world becoming our friends. Right? So true friendship for us first is to remember that Krishna is our best friend, and therefore I will reciprocate to the friendship of Krishna by making time for him. That is the first point. Second point is, if I have material friends around me, then I will be a true friend to them only when I'm able to give Krishna consciousness to them. Isn't it so? Make sense or no? If we are only satisfying the material needs of people around us and think that that is what they like, then we are not actually true friends. It's like we don't want to give what people like. We want to give what is right for the people. And that doesn't mean we make a random transition from today, but see how we do a gradual transition. How, in a nice way, we can give Krishna consciousness to the people around us and thereby own the responsibility of true friend. Right? So first thing is remember that Krishna is our best friend and reciprocate. Second thing is see how we can be true friends to the so-called material friends by giving Krishna consciousness to them. Third, by defining the friendship as something in which we see Krishna in others, not based on what they do good to me, they're friends, good friends, and if they do bad to me, they're my enemies. That should not be the definition of friendship. The definition of friendship is good or bad, I will love everyone, and that is possible only when I see Krishna in everyone, expansion, and therefore I start respecting everyone, and whatever negative experiences I've had in my life because of people is only because I have accumulated some karma which I've experienced and I've washed it away. And now I'm going to open a new chapter. And that new chapter is I'm going to open a chapter of friendship where I will remember Krishna as my best friend. I will reciprocate to him to the best of my ability by giving the quality time with love and devotion, and by giving Krishna consciousness to others, and by forgiving and forgetting others' mistakes in my life and start loving them. So these are the actual recipe for friendship. If we don't understand this underlying principle, again, these are only principles that we talked about. How we implement them is up to you based on your own experiences. You have to customize it based on the people that are in your life. The principles are that Krishna is my best friend, and I'm going to reciprocate him. I'm going to be a best friend to everyone in the material world, and I'm going to see Krishna in everyone's heart. And therefore, there is nobody in this world that I hate or I'm angry with. So on that note, we will sign off for today. If you have any comments or questions, please ask. We have 1 more minute. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you all tomorrow, same place, same time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thanks, everyone. Hare Krishna.